From the pages of Wrestling Ringside, April 1990, comes a saga of power, paranoia, and unapologetic madness. This wasn't just wrestling, it was war disguised as sport. Each column dripped with ego and ambition, each photo framed a threat. And on the cover, Hulk Hogan, arms flexed, belt glimmering, eyes daring the world to take a shot. The headline asked, "Can anyone beat Hulk?" And inside, through the smoke and sweat, came the answer. Not in a single name, but in a movement. A resistance. This was no longer a question of who had the title. It was who would tear the throne from the concrete and claim it with blood. The magazine opens with a collection of carefully curated chaos. The editorial page hints that although no major titles changed hands, the scene had become red hot. What followed proved it. First came Dino Bravo, stamped as the world's strongest man and flexing stats more fit for a comic book than a human being. 60-inch chest, 22-inch arms, thighs like small trees. But this wasn't just posing. Bravo had mauled Ronnie Garvin, caught him in midair with a counter knee that folded him like a chair. Next up, a rekindled feud with Superfly Jimmy Snuka, tag team brothers turned violent rivals. The article didn't romanticize it. It described their battles in Canada and Japan like legends whispered in alley gyms. In one infamous match, a wild brawl in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, saw the two men crash through chairs, rails, and logic. It ended in a double countout, but Bravo claimed victory in Snuka's screams. His next target was crystal clear: Hogan, or Warrior, or both. He didn't care who was champ, he just wanted to test whose bones would break first. But Bravo wasn't the only one with a claim. South of the border, Florida was stirring again. In the ashes of championship wrestling from Florida rose the Professional Wrestling Federation, and its new king was Steve "Gator" Keirn. Holding the PWF title like a Baroom shotgun, Keirn was locked in a southern death struggle with Kendall Windham, son of Blackjack Mulligan and bearer of the Caribbean Junior Heavyweight belt. This was more than family drama, it was a political war. Windham had martial arts goon Ron Slinker in his corner. Keirn brought a young, loudmouth enforcer, Diamond Dallas Page. Meanwhile, tag champs Lou Perez and Mark Starr were defending their gold like Rottweilers, and Billy Jack Haynes, a ghost from the past, returned to challenge the unbreakable Mike Awesome. Their showdown looked less like a wrestling match and more like a demolition derby of human anatomy. Toss in the Terminator, guided by the gospel-laced ravings of Reverend Billy C. Wirtz, and you had a promotion that felt like the final act of a punk rock opera. In the margins, a tiny ad for the Fantasy Wrestling Association, letting fans play matchmaker by mail for $2. Wrestling was alive, weird, chaotic, alive. And then came the fans. The Readers Speak Out section was a love letter, a hit list, and a confessional booth all in one. One fan penned a full poem dedicated to the genius, praising Lanny Poffo's rhymes while tipping the crown to the Macho Man. Another called Miss Elizabeth the reason I believe in angels. A North Carolina boy declared the Ultimate Warrior the new Hulk. One fan begged for more coverage of Donna Spangler, the coal miner's daughter, who blurred the lines between glamour and grit. Between the letters, the ads ran wild. Mail-order tapes of bunkhouse brawls, boot camp catfights, and X-ray specs that promised more than they delivered. It was a time capsule soaked in hormones and headlocks. Then the magazine changed tone. The colors darkened, the stakes rose. She arrived, not a valet, not a side piece, not an afterthought. Known in the sheets as Nancy Sullivan, known in the business as the storm behind the storm, she managed Doom, the masked tag team juggernauts, destroying the Steiner brothers one vertebra at a time. The article didn't treat her like a novelty. It crowned her a queen. She was powerful, calculating, vicious, and unlike any other woman in wrestling, she didn't scream ringside, she issued orders. She didn't interfere, she commanded. Her sights, Lex Luger, Sting, even Ric Flair. And if that wasn't enough, her endgame was simple: control the world. The most dangerous force in the universe, the writer claimed, and few argued. As the mist of chaos settled, a familiar voice returned, louder, meaner, and tropical. Oliver Humperdinck, but not quite. This was the big kahuna. Gone was the tuxedo, gone was the soft-spoken Canadian. In his place stood a Hawaiian-shirted wild man managing the Samoan SWAT team, Samu, Fatu, and the Samoan Savage. Each man tipped 300 pounds. Each man could crush a car. Under his command, they became nightmares with bare feet and war cries. The Kahuna wasn't here to make deals. He was here to burn blueprints. He mocked the old guard, insulted the horsemen, and promised to bring WCW down one tag team at a time. Behind his tinted shades, he called the shots, and everywhere he went, the earth shook. And yet, above it all, beyond it all, stood Ric Flair, the NWA World's Champion, the diamond ring-wearing, kiss-stealing, limousine-riding icon of the industry. But his challengers were not traditional. Gary Hart, twisted genius, had assembled an unholy alliance. The great Muta, with his green mist and martial silence, Dragon Master, cloaked in mystery and rage. Flair wasn't facing wrestlers, he was fighting shadows. Their war wasn't about titles, it was about pride, about control, about survival. Muta didn't speak, he sprayed, he struck, he vanished. Flair fought back the only way he knew, styling, profiling, and bleeding under arena lights. The magazine teased their collision like a prophecy, a storm coming, where blood would meet mist in the heart of the NWA. As the issue winds down, you realize this isn't just wrestling news. It's a snapshot of an industry on the brink. Territories dying, characters mutating, champions chased by monsters, and beneath it all, a hum of rebellion. This wasn't just about who held the gold. It was about who could survive the war. Woman, Bravo, Kahuna, Kieran, Doom, Muta, they weren't players. They were threats, and Hulk Hogan? He sat on his throne, daring them to try. The answer to the question, can anyone beat Hulk, wasn't yes or no. It was watch your back. This is From the Pages.